my circular saw, my router, my jig for my circular saw, my chop saw, very basic tools. And this is what I made. This is an open carcass, doorless, stand-alone closet. I made that for my customer with these very basic tools. You want to see how and see what you can do with just 3 basic tools? I'll show you how next. Hey everybody, welcome to the shack. I'm Rick. Today's video is very simple. I'm going to show you how to build that carcass, that doorless, open, framed closet that I built for my customer. He wanted something for his son. The room that he's moved into does not have a built-in closet. Needed something, and he just wanted something very simple, basic for a desk so he can put his laptop on and do his homework. Came up with the design. He said, yes, that's what I want. Very simple, very basic, and I built it for him. And I thought, before I started building it, it'd be a good project for you guys to see. Then I thought, you know what, I'm going to do this with very basic tools. And instead of using dowel joinery or biscuit joinery, I chose the pocket hole joinery because everybody can get a hold of that very easy, very simple without the expense of going another route. So I'm going to show you that, beginning to end. That's it, that's simple. Let's get going. So I'm going to set this, being this side I'm going to keep, and then my saw blade is going to run right here. If I cut this side to 24, it's going to be short. It's going to be short the width of the blade. So I'm going to kick it out, cut this at 24 and an 8. Okay. I have all my pieces cut. This is my template one. I'm going to get the other pieces, set them on top of this. This side is my factory cut edge. This is the side that I cut. I'm going to take my router with my trim bit in it. I'll adjust it. I'll get the other piece set on top of this. Get the back edges lined up. I got clamps. I'm going to go around and clamp it all down. Now what I want to do is set the depth of my bit. So it's just below that. Right there. It's about halfway here. Now that gives us a nice edge. And that's how much it's off. So I'm going to do the rest of the same, get these all the same width, and we'll be right back. I'm just going to lay this out real quick. But that's basically what the closet's going to look like. Bottom plate, there'll be the bar here to hang them on. I'll have a divider here. This will probably go up a little bit higher. Another bar here to hang them on. And then up here somewhere at the top. So I'm going to try to make it no more than 80 inches high. Yeah. 80 inches is going to be perfect. That's the height. Now I have this all lined up. Got all my marks off. Got the top done. So I cut this to length. These are my 2 sides now. I think the next step is to cut my top, middle, and bottom to length. Mark me a line so I know where I'm going to run my saw to. I'm just going to clean up this edge, and that way this makes sure this is all square. Set my jig up on that line. Got my jig sitting on my mark. Cut this, and then this is the top bottom. Move one of these over to here. Cut it to length. So those are done. Let's move those out of the way. Before I get everything set up and do some test cuts for the dados, I need to change out my collet on my router. I'm going to use a 3/4 inch straight bit, and because it's 3/4 pretty good size, I got the bit with the 1/2 inch shank on it. So that means I got to take out my 1/4 inch collet, put in my 1/2 inch one, so I can put this bit in there. I am going to have a quick little setup here and show you if you want to do a quick dado. Otherwise, I would strongly suggest, and I'll have a link there. Make yourself a jig for your router, same way I make the jig for my saw. You get you a piece of wood on top, 3/4 I would suggest. This is fine, 3 inches wide. Get you a piece of 3/8 wood on the bottom, wider than the end of your router base plate to the tip. Glue it up, staple it, screw it, whatever. Once it's all dry, put your router, basically set it like this and go back and forth, go about 1/8 of an inch at a time till you cut this piece of wood all the way through, and that's going to match the end of your base plate to the router bit. Whenever you want to go and do a dado or a rabbit or anything, you can use that as a guide, knowing that's exactly where that one bit, not all of them, just that one. If you're going to use a primary bit to do all the dados and all your rabbits, mark it so you know that bit goes to that jig. Usually I use dados on my table saw, but I know not everybody has a dado blade set up. If you have a router, this is how you're going to do it with the router. Again, I'm trying to do this project with very, very basic tools, not even using my table saw. I pretty much have it set already. I've also connected my dust collection, so I'm going to get my vacuum connected, get my eyes and ears, and we'll do a quick cut and we're going to measure it. Now the distance between the fence and my cut, I am right at 2 5/8. So now I know between the fence here and my cut, I got 2 5/8. Actually, let's do the depth. I want you to see that. I can cut my hand over it there. Look at that, right on 250. That is 1/4 inch dead on. And this is where the bottom board is going to run here. So we're going to do the dado here. So from this line, this is 3/4 inch. I already laid this out on this one. I'm going to go up 2 5/8. My overall length is 5 1/4. Other side, I'll set it at 5 1/4. And I could run this down. And that'll be my first pass. Now just to show you, this is a scrap piece. Doesn't even fit. Okay, I'm at 0.74, looks like 3. 0.743. Now the width of the melamine is 0.755. Wow. Well, see there, it's 0.760. So this melamine isn't as consistent as we would like it to be. I'm just going to do it at 755, and we'll just hopefully be able to get it in from there. 743 to 755. We're going to go 12 thousandths of an inch. Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to get me a feeler gauge. Right there is 0.12, that's 12 thousandths. I'm going to take this piece of wood. I'm going to take my feeler gauge. I'm going to put it between the wood and there, not pushing hard, just to snug it. And I'm going to clamp this on here. When I take that feeler gauge out, there's going to be 12 thousandths of gap there. I'll loosen this, push this back until it touches it, and that should be my gap. Okay, I got the other side done. I'm just going to loosen this side up. Basically push that there so it's touching. Snug this back up. I'm going to do another pass and hopefully that'll be it. Alright, let's gauge it now. Wow, 755. Now let's see if we can get this to fit in here. Perfect fit. Nice. So the bottom's done. Let's do the rest of these cuts. That's what it looks like so far. I just have it sitting on my table saw, just get an idea. I have all the wood to start the face frame. So I'm going to start working on that. Now I'm going to drill all the holes on the side of the carcass. I have the collar set to where I want it. I did a couple of tests, and the second one after I readjusted the collar is perfect. Let me show you what I mean. Exactly where I want it. When I take this little cap put on there, that's what it's going to look like. I laid out the center line to my dado, marked where I want my holes. I'm going to have 5 screws on each side on each level. Because my countersink tip is broken, I used a drill bit, drilled my holes. Now I'm going back with the countersink it to the right depth. There we have it. Now I go do all of these and then we're ready to start assembly. I'm gonna assemble this real quick. This keeping that nice and secure and flush, and keeping this at a 90. Put in my screws real quick. Set that there. With these all pretty secured, I'll let this dry for a little bit. Let's get the other piece of wood, cut me a 6-inch strip so we can make the back plates. I have my jig set where I'm going to make my cut about 6 1/16. Just a little bit over 6 inches. That way it's going to be very close. I'm splitting the difference of the blade, so 1/16 under, not bad. I'll run my saw, cut it down. That'll be my backing plate so I can screw into the wall. Put it on my miter saw so they're a nice straight cut. Square it up. I'm going to make sure it fits inside the carcass. Once I'm sure it fits, I will take it out. We're going to do the pocket holes on the back. Get it mounted in there. Put the top on. This part is done. Let's see how this fits. The back plate's cut. Nothing on my way down there. I just want to make sure it fits, not too tightly and not too loose. Oh, perfect. Nice. This will cinch that up tight on sides. It'll help it keep it square. And then I can put 3 screws in, depending on where the studs are situated. At least 2 screws in to hold it to the wall so it doesn't tip. I know not everybody has a dowel jig. After thinking about it a little bit, I decided to go ahead and just do pocket hole joinery. So I'm going to go through, as you see, I got this one done. I'm going to finish doing all the rest of them. Have the face frame all done. I was going to use biscuit joinery to put this on. I don't think I'm going to do that. I think I'm just going to get some glue, put it on the carcass, set this on here, line it up, and shoot me a few finish nails. Okay. That's that. Go around here, get all the rest of these set in here. Now basically this is what the desk part is going to look like. This is the front part. This side connects to the cabinet itself. So on this side I just have a 4-inch strip of melamine cut, fit the length and width. I have my 2x2 squares for my legs set in there. Basically what I'm going to use is here, I am on these 2 ends. On the inside I'll use pocket hole joinery, screw that to the top, and then I'll probably put 1 or 2 up here on both sides and one side on this one to bolt it to the support here. Back inside, pocket hole joinery, hold this down and on the back to the side, I'll probably put 2 here to connect it there. So this is all going to be held with pocket hole joinery. I'm going to go around and put the screws in. This is flush to the side. Put a screw in here. The next one, I'll make sure it is flush to the outside in case it wants to bend a little bit. Clamp it, put a screw in, and make my way all the way around doing this. Kia special, man. Perfect. Same thing to the back. I'm using 220 grit. I'm just going over a little, very lightly, smooth it out, going over the edges here. Just make everything nice and smooth. Give it a second coat, and then this will be done. Last thing I did is to caulk all the edges here with white caulking. You see it blends in, smooths out. You can't even see the seam here anymore. Same thing with up here, all the way and around. So everything blends in on the bottom. Everything blends in. I'm going to connect the desk on this side. It's been all painted. I got the pads for the floor, and that way I can adjust it, make sure if the floor is off a little bit. I can set this, make sure it's level. I got the holes drilled so I can screw this to the carcass of the closet. I'm going to put that on here, make sure everything looks good, double check everything. Here's all my little buttons I can put on to cover the holes. Looks good. Connect that, we can call this done. Whoops, I am really sorry. I guess I got caught up in the moment and I forgot to really film me putting the brackets on to mount the closet bar. I forgot to show you me actually mounting the desk to the carcass, but it's very simple. Those 6 holes that you saw that I drilled, once I got it to my customer, I basically just clamped it to the carcass, made sure it was pretty level, and then I used the adjustable tips I put on depending on the unevenness of the floor, you know, just make sure it was all okay. Seriously, very basic tools. This was 90% of what I used. 10% was just chop saw to cut up the face frame. Easy, simple. I hope you enjoyed this. Give it a like, give it a thumbs up, share it to others, subscribe, be blessed, get out there, take back a shack and build it for your sanity. Basic tools, you can do a lot of things. Seriously, get out there and do something. Thanks again for watching. We'll see you next video. Hello and welcome. If this is your first time stopping by, I just want to say 3, 2, 1. I don't want to say 3, 2, I just want to say 3, 2, 1.